So this video is brought to you by Diamond Select Toys, and today we're looking at the Star Wars Imperial Stormtrooper by, of course, Diamond Select. This is a Disney exclusive, Disney Store exclusive, and it comes in this big old box. On the back side, we get a look at what he comes with there. And there's actually two. I do have two of these, so we're going to take a look at both of them here in one shot. So here we have them both out of the box, and aesthetically these things look really, really nice. I like the way they look. Colors are fine, everything's nice, and they do come packed in with very nice accessories as well. So both of them, of course, are the same. So they stand at right over 7 inches. It's yeah, it's right at 7 inches actually. Maybe the tiniest bit above 7 inches. But yeah, Diamond Select Toys are already 7 inch figures, 7 to 8 inches sometimes, depending on the character or more. And this is something that they are constrained to, from my understanding. If somebody knows something more than I do, then let me know down in the comments. But I believe because Hasbro has the master license that they can't produce any Marvel or Star Wars figures that are 6 inch, and they are constrained to only a limited amount of articulation points. So this is why we get the single jointed knees, single jointed elbows. We don't get butterfly joints. We don't get anything crazy here. Now, with that being said, though, Black Series from Hasbro really constrains themselves sometimes. We don't really get double jointed knees or elbows with those figures, or butterfly joints. They're super limited, and for some reason that's just how they do it. What they do is, of course, they keep it at 6 inches tall, and that's the scale that the majority of collectors collect. There's not a lot of people that really like the 7 to 8 inch scale, but there are fans out there. You know, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that the majority prefer the 6 inch scale, or some of them even prefer 3 and 3/4 inch over 6 inches. But what I'm seeing here is that the articulation is very similar, because a lot of the times, Black Series keeps it very limited, and that's just by choice, or that's just their own doing. I don't know why. I feel like a lot of their figures should have more articulation similar to Marvel Legends, but that's that team. Separate teams between Marvel Legends and Star Wars, all this and that. But anyways, we're talking about the Diamond Select Stormtroopers here, and if this is something that you are, eyeing or potentially intrigued by, then I think you might be impressed here, because these two troopers look very nice next to each other. It might be a very nice setup here if you decide to army build these guys. So let's see what they actually come with. So again, technically, this is just one figure, but I do have two of them, so of course I'm gonna put them both in the video. So they each come with a long rifle right here. The bipod does not go down. I thought it would, but it doesn't. It's just stuck to that spot, which is fine. I don't think I'm ever gonna use it, so it's fine. It's just cool if it was articulated, but the sculpt is fine on this thing. We do get some wash on here, which is nice to see. And then we get a medium-sized gun, which is their pretty much standard. I think it's an E11. That's what they call it. But hey, I'm not a Star Wars, expert in weapons or anything like that. So if I got it wrong, then forgive me there. But this is sculpted very nice too. A little bit of wash, nothing crazy there. And then we get a smaller weapon. So we're just going smaller here. This is like a pistol with a scope on it. Also the same thing here. It's black with some wash on there, some silver dry brush. And then we get one laser effect that can peg in to each of these. So even the smallest one here, they all get peg holes at the end of the barrel, and you can peg that in right there. And then we can put it into this one right there. So check that out. Very cool. I like the way it looks. I thought this looked kind of funny, when I was unboxing it, but it seems pretty good. All right, pretty all right. And then I did find it the hardest to peg it into the long rifle, which is kind of weird to me. I felt like this is the gun this was really meant for, but it doesn't go in all the way. You can half it, and it'll still stay on there, but for some reason it doesn't go in all the way like it does on the smaller weapons. Now, they also do come with a mouse droid, which is cool. It's all black. We get some silver paint on the side there. And the wheels do not roll. I feel like that's a missed opportunity, but it's fine. I'm not going to play around with this thing rolling out on my table, but it'd be fun if I could. But yeah, it's a cool little prop, a cool little accessory that they come with. I like that. And then lastly, we do get alternate hands. So on the figure itself, they come packed in with these open hands. very calm open hands. And then as an option, we have two grabby hands, of course, a left and a right. And this is to grab the weapon or the barrel of the weapon. And then there's a trigger finger hand here, or you could use it as a pointing finger hand too. But we only get one of these. That's the right hand, not the left, but only one right. Now they also do come with a holster, and unless I'm doing something wrong, I'm having a very difficult time inserting his pistol inside this holster. I assume this is the only weapon he could put in here, because these are just way bigger. Unless I guess you could force it in a little bit, but it just doesn't seem right. I don't know, maybe I'm doing something wrong, but they're all super tight. They don't really fit in there, so I wish this was better, I wish it would actually fit a weapon in there, unless maybe I gotta heat it up or something, but just thought I should point that out. If somebody knows if I'm doing something wrong, let me know, but I mean, I don't understand. It's just maybe I got a faulty one that was super tight. But if I take a look at this one and try to insert this weapon in here, it's the same deal. It's just very, very tight. I'm sure if I really push it all the way in with all my force, I can get it in there, but shouldn't be that difficult. Alright, so getting him to hold his weapon or weapons is a little tricky sometimes. He is very limited in his elbows, so it's hard to get him in a natural pose with it. You can definitely pull off the vanilla pose here where he's just standing straight up with the gun kind of resting like he's holding a post or something. But if you were trying to get him aiming down the sight, it's not really gonna happen here. I mean, these single jointed elbows are very, very limited. I don't think they even reach 90 degrees in a bend there, and I think that's because of the armor. So that's unfortunate. But you could definitely get them like this, where they're kind of just like chilling with the weapons there. And I do wish that at least the trigger finger hand would have the side hinge and not the regular hinge, so that way you can have his hand go down when he's holding the weapon. He can aim down or aim up a little bit easier. So that's just a few gripes of mine here. It's always important for a trooper or for a soldier or someone with a weapon to be able to aim the weapon naturally. So I'm not really gonna fault Diamond for this. I know the deal with the licenses. I know what they're restricted to. So it's just it is what it is. So you can get him into this type of pose here where he's kind of firing from the hip. So this will definitely work out. You can see here with the effect attached and all. So this looks decent. I mean, if I play around with it a little bit longer, I can probably get him looking a little bit better. But I think this works pretty decently for what we can, for what we have. We gotta make do with what we have here, and you can definitely get him firing from the hip. And then with the smaller weapon, of course, you could do the one-hand aim here with his little pistol, scoped pistol. And this one, you could easily pull this off for sure, so that looks good. And you can also utilize his grabby hands to hold the gun. Even though his trigger finger doesn't really reach the trigger, you really don't see it when it's kind of like calm like that. And then you can use the other, you can use the other hand for just him like kind of directing orders or aiming at the enemy or something. So you can get creative for sure. Alright, so this is going to be the main comparison, right? What does it look like next to a Star Wars The Black Series Stormtrooper? So you can see here they do tower over them. I threw two in here so I can pose them differently, just to show you how much more range, even though they do have single jointed elbows and knees, their single joints are pretty deep and they do go further than a 90-degree bend. So it's actually not that bad. So you can definitely get him to do the little hip fire shot, but a little bit more dramatic, a little bit uh, more posed up. And then of course you can get him looking down the sights as well, or looking down the gun the best you can. This is far more than what you could do with the Diamond Select version. So you can't really get him 100% looking down the sight, but you can get pretty close to just a basic aiming down the rifle type of pose. And also colors. The color white is actually very different between the two. I actually like Diamond Select's color a little bit better. It seems more accurate to the film, more accurate to the Stormtrooper white. Uh, Seeing these two side by side, it seems like the Black Series version has, I don't know, it's got like this bluish hue to the white, if that makes sense. It's a little different. I don't know, but I feel like this white seems more accurate. Alright, so I don't have any other Star Wars Diamond Select to compare him next to, but I have some other Diamond Selects. So here is the Marvel Select Human Torch next to these two troopers. And just to get some other lines into the mix, here is the Batman from McFarlane, which are also 7 to 8 inch figures. Alright, so let's check out what he can do. The head sits on a ball joint of some kind. I can't tell what it is, and I don't want to force the head off because I don't know. I don't feel safe popping off heads off of figures that don't come with alternate heads. And if this right here doesn't pop it off, I'm keeping that thing on there. So whatever he has, I'm gonna assume it's a ball jointed peg or a barbell peg because he can head tilt pretty good. And normally when it's just a ball jointed hinge and not a barbell, he can't really do that. But his helmet does restrict a lot of movement. You can move it up and down, I mean, ever so slightly, but he's not going to look to the sky, and he's not going to look all the way down to the ground. Left and right's no problem, and then head tilting is pretty nice too. Arms will swing all the way around, forward and back. They go in and out. Now these shoulder pads come off; they're pegged in. They're pliable, but you know, at a certain point, they're just well, I guess they don't pop off. Yeah, they do, but you can still pull it off to the point where you could stretch out the arm all the way and it won't pop off. It looks kind of weird, but you know, you could still pull something off here. You just might have to play around with this thing because it might fall off on you. He does have bicep swivels, which is cool. There is no butterfly joint or anything like that, but you know, bicep swivels are always nice. We get the single jointed, you know, elbow. Wish that was a deeper bend, but it's not. We do get the swivel there. We get the swivel at the wrist in a regular hinge. We get the diaphragm joint at the torso, which goes forward and back pretty decently, tilts, and you know it swivels as well. There is no waist swivel. Actually, there is a, hold on. Surprised me, caught me off guard, but he does have a waist swivel along with that diaphragm joint swivel, so that's pretty interesting. The legs kick forward, they go back down, they go in and out. You can see right here, but these little pouches here on his belt are really hard plastic and they hinder quite a bit, so he's not really gonna stretch out too far. We have thigh swivels and we have single jointed knees that they don't make a 90-degree bend, so I wish that was a little bit deeper. They do swivel at the knee, and then we get the hinged ankle with the ankle rocker right there. Alright you guys, and that's going to wrap things up on this review of the Diamond Select Imperial Stormtrooper Disney Store exclusive. Reminder, this is not a 2-pack, this is a single pack. I just have 2 and I'm just, you know, reviewing 2 at the same time of the same figure because it's an army builder. Now my overall thoughts, even though this is not a scale I typically gravitate towards, I still think these look very nice. Aesthetically, like I mentioned, they're perfect. The color is spot on. The sculpt is spot on. No issues there. My issues only lie within the articulation, the stiffness. Like you really can't get anything dynamic, and I probably wouldn't shoot any ACBA with these figures. These are figures more to keep kind of vanilla posed, museum posed in your display. You can still pull some things off, but like I said, you know, you're not gonna get them on one knee or sitting down or anything like that. With the limitations that these have. So if 7-inch scale is your thing and you don't really dynamically pose things, which the majority of collectors literally only pose their figure standing up most of the time, even if the figure is highly posable and articulated. So if that sounds like you, then this might be something that you might enjoy. But on the other side, there are plenty of collectors that no matter what pose they're going to display the figure in, they want the figure to be highly articulated. They do not care if they're just going to stand them straight up or if they're going to have them web slinging like Spider-Man. So ultimately, it's going to come down to your preference here on whether or not you think you guys should pick this one up. So go ahead and let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and while you're down there, hit that like button and also consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. As always guys, take it easy, take care, and I will catch you on the next one.